Welcome everyone to Energy Gal Holistic Wellness. I'm Lisa, intuitive healer and spiritual guide. In today's video, I'm going to unpack for you 5 things that I am sensing and that my guides have unpacked that we will be experiencing in this next season of time. It's my intention that the things that I'm sharing with you would encourage you, would help you to ease into the energies that are happening in the world because they're big and it can be scary. So I'm hoping that what I share with you inspires and motivates you and helps you to relax into what's happening. You see, I think that if we can relax into what's happening, if we can ease into what's happening, it's easier for us to partner with what's going on. We're less in fear and reaction and more into, okay, this too. So let's get to it. 5 things that were unpacked to me for this next week coming up November 6th, which is a Monday on, or whenever that you're hearing this, because as my oldest son says, time is an illusion, Mom. Okay. So the first thing is this. What I'm sensing is, and what the guides have shared with me is this: the way that we are going to be healing is radically changing. We are coming out of the Piscean age and going into the Aquarian age. And granted, that's going to take 100 years yet. But we are coming out of a season where shadow work, which means introspection, one-on-one work in your own space, going inward to try to figure things out, follow the thread down to the tip of the root and then gently pull the weed out. A lot of that is changing. The way that we are going to be healing is going to be changing. It's going to be less about the mind and figuring things out, and it's going to be more and more about the energetics of healing. Understanding that fear in all of its forms holds a frequency. And so if we approach and open ourselves up to healing through frequencies, that is the way that we are going to be doing shadow work. So what does that look like? It means Epsom salt baths, guided meditations, vibrational sound therapy, art therapy, food therapy, which I'm not even sure if it's a thing, but God has been speaking to me a lot about how food is going to be healing to our bodies. Sound baths, things that have frequency, grounding practices, tree bathing, getting into the forest and just sitting under the trees. And the other thing is, let me see if this is all part of it. Okay, it's leading into the next part. Also being around other people who are, I don't want to say further along because there is none of that, are vibrating at more of a remembrance of their identity. So if they are more fully turned on and tuned in to the frequency of love, of God spark that they are, their frequency is going to be emanating that out of them. And when you and me hang around them, our frequencies will then shift. That's what I see is happening when it comes to our healing journeys. Less shadow work and more just fun, which leads me into the next thing. We are going to be bringing back, returning to the childlike wonder, the awe, the fun, the curiosity. It's going to be less about the responsibility and more about the party, more about just being here now in the experience. So I see number 1 and number 2, those 2 things that my guides unpacked for me, is the way that we are going to be spending more of our time, which then leads me to saying the 9 to 5, it's going to be very different. Life is going to be very different. And this is as a whole, not just this next week. So, healing is going to look different. We're not going to get stuck in shadow work, constantly gazing at our navel and wondering what's another, the singular thing. It's going to be more about getting together at a gathering, a retreat for the weekend, and hanging with a lot of other people who are about the same intention of opening up to healing and doing the frequency work, the energy healing, and of course, then lots of laughter, curiosity, fun, wonder, and awe. Yes, we're going to be going down the rabbit hole and we're going to be playing in Wonderland. All right, here's the third thing they said to me. As we become more and more heart-centered, as we become more resonant with the heartbeat of Mother Earth, and as we allow for the feminine energies to be balanced with those beautiful sacred energies, our mind is going to be less busy with trying to figure things out. We are going to be more in the flow. Energy flows. We're going to be more in the flow, and we're going to be more present-minded. The mind is going to be less stuck in the past and less focused on the future, and is literally just going to be here and now. Oh my gosh, they're already telling me this is going to really change our metabolisms greatly. There's so many of you, I got a word out. There's so many of you who've been trying to lose weight, and you're following the diet, and you're down in calories, and you're decreasing the calories, and you're exercising like crazy, and it's not working. What's going to happen is your frequency is going to shift as those feminine energies are on the rise, balance with the masculine energies. And in the be here now, your metabolism is going to change, and the weight is going to, it's just going to fall off. It's just, your body is going to be it's going to be effortless. The flow is going to be effortless for us. Here's the fourth thing that my guides told me. We are going to come to an understanding, and this is how they told me. I was writing down the message, and I was abbreviating, and I wrote Mother Earth as M-E. And my guide said to me, yep, and that's the fourth thing. You're going to start as a collective understanding how Mother Earth and you yourself are connected. That you are not, in fact, separate. There is going to be a melting, a molding, a coming together, a knitting together to the point where you can't tell where one ends and the other one begins when it comes to the understanding of our relationship and our connection with Mother Earth. That Mother Earth is us and we are Mother Earth. They said there's going to be a huge revelation of our connection with and to nature, animals, the planet, the stars, the moon, the sun. And then they said this, there is going to be an explosion of emotion. And I said, oh my gosh, are we expecting a whole lot of, anger, or what's going on? An explosion of emotion. And I sense that they're going to allow that to unpack itself a little bit more in the next coming weeks and months. But there's going to be less pushing things down and more letting things erupt, come out, come up, like a volcano explodes, erupts. And I keep thinking, oh my gosh, is this good? Is this bad? Should I be scared? And my guides reminded me, Lisa, there isn't anything good or bad. There just is. What are you narrating it to be? What's the story that you're speaking around it? So yes, an explosion of emotion. Not sure exactly what that means. Sorry, I wish I could be more specific. That's all I've got. And number 5. Oh, okay. There's going to be an increase of the awareness of the consciousness that everything is. Not even has, that it is. That there is a consciousness in everything. A tree has a consciousness. A blade of grass has a consciousness. A cloud has a consciousness. Our dog has a consciousness. Each of us has a consciousness. It has a flavor of godness. And we as a collective are going to be understanding and becoming more and more aware of the consciousness of everything. Our 5 senses are going to start to be able to be used at the 5D, I'm going to say level, but in the 5D. So number 5 was our 5 senses will be able to be used in the 5D. And I've said this before and I'll say it again, but we think that we are going to the 5D, and that is not what I sense is happening. My guides have said to me that we are going to be integrating the 5D, that high frequency vibration, in our bodies. That's why our bodies, they're so sacred. And that's why I think a lot of the healing, the energy work that we're going to be doing is going to be including food therapy. I don't even know what food therapy is or if it even exists, but that's what I'm sensing. Okay. I'm thirsty now. Okay. So, what to do this next week? Let this marinate. Let this integrate within you. Let yourself sit with it. Don't try to wrap your mind around it. Allow your heart to ponder it. Maybe you could take each one of these points and journal. Write it down and say, okay, this is what it might mean to me. Get into an Epsom salt bath or put your feet in some salt water and just sit with, say, number 3 and be like, okay, what did number 3 mean to me, that I'm going to be more heart-centered? Okay? Ooh, hey, thank you for hanging out with me. If I can be of assistance to you on your soul awakening journey, check any of the links below. And in the meantime, this next week I have planned for us a guided meditation that rocked my world. I did it yesterday and it came out of nowhere, and it's a guided meditation like one I've never done before, so I'm really excited for us. I felt like I got healed as I was unpacking it. And then I have a mind-body coaching, which I'm going to unpack a scenario about something that happened. And then I have a sound bath that I'm going to do for us. And then I have another podcast coming on Friday with a very interesting character. He is something else. So we had a really good time chatting. So I hope you have a wonderful week, everybody. And again, if you sub, if you hit the notification bell, comment, join the community, like, share, I sure do appreciate it. And in the meantime, I love you. I really love you and appreciate you. And here's a hug.